Redfall lets me down, regardless of the genre expectations I bring. There aren't enough enemies in any location to play it like a horde shooter, guns feel weightless and their damage output stays in lockstep with the level scaling enemies, so treating it like an RPG is a bore. Vampires are scary in the dark early on, but the tension is lost through repetition, so cross-survival horror is off the list. It can't manage to be a good hero-based FPS despite having promising abilities, such as invisibility and an electric rod that stuns enemies, because they all take forever to charge up, and don't beat the unstoppable tactic of just standing and shooting. And the story lets down the game's entertaining premise, a town where the rich literally become vampires that prey on regular people. Nothing could save this game, not even bringing a friend along for co-op. Arcane has stumbled a few times before, but its detailed worlds, evocative art direction and slick systems have always kept me coming back. Redfall has none of it. It's an outstanding disappointment. The town of Redfall may be one of the emptiest open worlds I've ever seen. It does have exquisite autumnal vibes. Every human enemy in Redfall has helpfully gathered around the most explosive object they could find. The town is littered with so many gas tanks, oil spills and propane tanks that I'm not sure the vampires are its biggest problem. If this had the zany tone of Borderlands, where blowing up stupid enemies was the entire point, I wouldn't mind. But Redfall's dramatic text logs and side quests about the horror of the townspeople's friends and family being turned into semi-immortal monsters. Reading these notes and letters while combing through the town for loot and XP as your character quips about how adept they are confuses Redfall's tone. It's like if you dropped a plucky Overwatch hero into Netflix's Midnight Mass. There are brief moments where the narrative and the environmental design coalesce and give you the kind of strange and haunting spaces that Arcane is known for. But it made me desperate to reach a turning point in Redfall where it regularly deployed warped set pieces like this, but sadly it never does. Redfall's multiplayer structure actively detracts from what Arcane does best. Enemies jerk, slide and stutter as they patrol or chase you, and items like backpacks and medical bags are copy-pasted everywhere without any sort of logic. As a fan of Arcane's imaginative worlds and dynamic, system-driven play, the most compelling thing about Redfall is the mystery of how it happened. It's the first Arcane game I don't like at all. An incoherent and unfun shooter that looks bizarre next to the liveliness of 2017's Prey or the Dishonored games. This is annoying. Maddeningly, fucking hell, I know that word. Maddeningly. I'm not going to say that word. An incoherent and unfun shooter